all of our monies were at risk. So if we didn't raise over 12 million, 58 days and close the whole deal in another 90, we lost it. Not the people who put up their money to buy stock, but we did. But you know what? Someone asked me and made a comment to me because I said, gosh, you know what? I'm liquidating everything that I have that I worked really hard for, through these years. And someone said, would you rather bet on yourself or somebody else? You know what? It was easy to hand the check over when saying that because I'd rather bet on myself.
Don't forget to smash that share button, subscribe to my page, follow me on Instagram at Lance Bachman, and keep sending me those questions. Hey everybody, welcome to the Lion Den. I'm Lance Bachman, the Digital Lion. I am fired up, and I mean fired up, to have Patti Husic, the President and CEO of Centric Bank, on with us at the Lion's Den today. Patti, thank you so much for having the courage to come on, knowing how I feel about most bankers.
Oh, my pleasure, Lance. I'm thrilled to be here with you today and looking forward to our conversations. I may turn you into someone who's loving banks after today.
Well, you have a big role, and you weren't born into banking. You're self-made. The thing I love about you is you started out as a banker. No different than I started out selling advertising, and I grew my career and I mastered my craft. You did the same thing. Can you tell the people about that? And I couldn't imagine how hard it was being a woman in a male-dominated business.
Absolutely, Lance. Happy to talk about it. So I started my career in public accounting, worked for a CPA firm, used to audit banks. So that's what I did for the first 5 years of my career. Had various other roles in banking. I've been a banker now for 30 years. I had an opportunity to either go with this other bank, and one of the other organizations reached out to me. It was a small sole shareholder bank, and reached out and asked, about coming over to make a difference. Well, I did. The shareholder passed away within how many months. From there, I worked around turning around the bank, and within a year became the president of the bank. About a year later, the family was looking at, they wanted to sell the bank. So myself and 3 other partners got together.
Well, I want to hear the story I heard is true. It's going to be the one you said. Is it true that you talked 3 other people into pretty much selling everything you owned, and you didn't even have the money raised yet, that all the money you need to buy the bank, and you were going to lose everything, and you had like 90 or 150 days? Is that a true story? Or is that a rumor from some of your friends?
Oh, no, that's an absolute true story. So now the other people have their own businesses, Lance. So for me, I liquidated everything that I had. And when we signed our letter of intent, all of our monies were at risk. So if we didn't raise over 12 million, 58 days and close the whole deal in another 90, we lost it. Not the people who put up their money to buy stock, but we did. But you know what? Someone asked me and made a comment to me because I said, gosh, you know what? I'm liquidating everything that I have that I worked really hard for, through these years. And someone said, would you rather bet on yourself or somebody else? You know what? It was easy to hand the check over when saying that because I'd rather bet on myself.
I love it. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. And I've gotten to know you over the last 2-3 years I was with a big bank. Andrea Ahern was the one that brought me to you, and she's one of my very close dear friends, and she's a great banker, and she's the one that sold me on Centric Bank. Mercy, obviously, I feel about her. She's
yes.
I'm a fan favorite of her. I love her.
She's the best.
And I don't think people realize the difference between a community bank and a big bank. And we're going to talk about that and the impact of it. But really, let's talk about this first. Your bank is almost close to doing $1 billion now. So you're
830 million, yes.
Congratulations.
140 employees.
140 employees. Your women make up less than 5% of CEOs across the country. How is that being when you're going to meetings? There's only 5 out of 100 women there. It has to be difficult.
You know what? What I always looked at it, Lance, when I was in a room and it was a lot of always the Navy suits and men, and I was the only woman, it was a great time because I knew I'd be memorable and I would stand out. And, it was something about me. I always had a never give up. And I'm a very persistent person. And to me, it didn't intimidate me. It was an area that I felt that I could shine in, but I'm somebody who is highly motivated by challenges. And I don't. I persevere and I don't give up. You could ask any of my team members. They know me, even though they always say I'm positive Patti, but I'm somebody who I don't give up. I don't. And, you push and you push. And that was a comment I said to one of those investors when they said to me, what happens if we don't raise all the money? And I said, failure is not an option.
So let's talk about that, right? We just got hit with a crisis. Your bank, there's no way you could have been prepared for this. What a great leader you are. We started seeing it coming. Every leader with two eyes started seeing it
Right.
coming probably 3-4 weeks prior, and definitely 2 weeks prior. You knew we were going to go to a shutdown mode, right?
Right.
Your staff was prepared, and they worked 15, 20 hours a day every day when the time came.
Mhm.
Just to the viewers, so you know, full transparency, Centric Bank is my bank if you missed the first 5 minutes of the show. And I can vouch for that. And what did you say to them?
Well, when we knew this program was being created to help small business, our normal course of lending is it a face-to-face, it's a one-on-one. And I knew with the volume was going to come through to help as many small businesses that we can, Lance, it was about what could we do to automate this process. So kudos to our CIO and his team. They built a loan portal in less than 48 hours.
You've processed over 20 referrals I sent to you. Every other banker I can attest to right now has asked me, what's the name of the company, what's the size of the loan, and then they would decide if they were taken or not. Why were you willing, if you don't mind me asking? Because I know no one's ever asked me the size of it, and you didn't treat anyone different. I'm just curious to what was your perspective versus other, because you could have went whale hunt also.
Sure, we could have. That isn't who we are at the core, Lance, first of all. But secondly, our core of our business is small businesses. When you look at it, small businesses are the economic engine of our communities, or the heart of our communities. And without them, where do we stand? So we're here to help any and all size businesses. And even though maybe somebody's a smaller business today, the network people know, but it's about helping the small businesses. It isn't about, well, if you're not a $5-10 million loan, we're not interested. No, it's about stepping up to the plate to help everyone. And that's what we wanted to do.
Patti, no one could ever sell me on that, no matter how polished you are, and you are a great speaker, but you got a lot of spunk, and we'll talk about how we had a few tough conversations about my own stuff, and we'll be very transparent about it, because I think people need to know how banking and customer relationships really work.
Sure.
But Shock IT, the company I own, was processed and funded and had money before One SEO, which is the bigger of the two companies. And that I emailed you. I'm like, I'm concerned. Wait a minute, because I was like, how is that funded and approved before the bigger company, right? And it just goes to show you, and this is where I will give you a plug about your character and testament, that literally I commend you for that and your team, because
thank you.
So many of my friends, because all I represent is businesses, were not responded to, not taken care of, on wait list. I mean, think about that. Do these banks, number one, rebound from this? I don't see how.
Lance, that's a great question. And it'll be interesting to see if they do. I mean, right now, their reputation isn't good from this. And we've seen a lot of movement of the people, because we just did not handle our customers' applications only. We put a call out, and I put a call out on every one of my social media, on my LinkedIn, on my Facebook and Twitter, and called out for all small businesses. The only thing I made the caveat is in the communities we serve, so Central PA, suburban Philly region, and certain parts of Jersey. But outside of that, we wanted to help as many people as we could.
It's raining money in your industry right now. And me and you talked about this. You had you grabbed the market share through this. This is just the reality of it. You grabbed the market share. You probably grabbed another 20% market share, if not more, of your whole portfolio. Is that accurate?
I would agree.
Okay, so you grabbed the market share. You're a savvy businesswoman, but it still goes back to your core roots of your customer service, which I've never not been able to get a hold of you. And it's not because I'm one of your largest clients. I'm one of your average size clients. I mean, you don't forget who you are, where you came from. Why are these other banks doing that? I don't understand it.
To me, Lance, that goes to the core of the tone gets set at the top. It does. You hear it from other banks saying that loans below a certain amount, just in general, not necessarily these loans, but in general, they don't want to touch them. They always talk about the juice, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. It takes too much time and it's not efficient. I get, efficiency. We're all strive for efficiency in all companies. And we're not doing any of this for to be a nonprofit. Sure, we have a profit motive, but you got to take care of the people first. And if you don't take care of the people, you're not going to have a successful business. Or if you do, it's going to be very short term.
Now, I will defend banks in this. Seldom will they ever take a house from somebody if they default a loan unless there's fraud involved. But why such the need that some banks will say, here, I'm going to put a bazooka to your head, and some banks are less? Can you kind of explain that?
First of it, it all depends upon the risk tolerance of the bank, Lance. The risk tolerance, what policies, procedures that you do have set up. Part of it you got to think about too, we have investors too within, and we have shareholders to report to. So it could be even certain type of lending. You maybe have a higher than normal loss histories in those. Maybe you've had situations that you've lost money on, but part of it, you can't paint everything with a broad brush, and you have to take something, and each case can be individualized too, based upon the borrower, their background, their history, and furthermore, their experience with you. So all those things need to come into play.
That's why when this all went down and people said, why are you so loyal to Centric? Why are you sending people to Centric? And I told you it would take strong beliefs for me to ever leave you now. And I told you that yes or no after this.
You sure did. And we appreciate that.
And it wasn't because how you took care of me, because one SEO in shock, you've seen my financials. They were fine either way. Mm-hmm. It was how you took care of every other person I sent you, whether it be the small person that was just a jewelry company in Doylestown doing only $1 million a year total, or if it was just the gym that I sent you. You took care of everyone and treated them with respect. And not you, Patty. I'm talking about Jackie, Mercy, the nice gentleman that was calling me on a Friday night at 11 o'clock to give me an update. I forget, Corey was his name?
Yes.
Like, that just doesn't happen. Round two's coming, right? Technology. Yes. I don't believe, and I know, and I'll give you the elderly people, and I'll give you that demographic, and people that aren't good with technology. But this right here has made people technology-centric, and I believe this is a great opportunity for someone like you, Patty, to grab market share. Do you believe that, using technology?
Absolutely. I've seen even through people coming up to our drive-thrus, that's declined. Before that we closed our lobbies, we reached out to people who we knew were frequent visitors, individuals and businesses, and said, let's help walk you through the online banking to get you signed up, download your mobile app, and to help you make those things easier for you. And I can see that more people will navigate away from that. From the old coming into the lobbies. I do. This may look like our new normal.
Patty, what I found intriguing when I got to know you is you're a little bit of a firecracker. I mean, you're very direct. There's no back and forth. You've been around the block. If the house shows up today, tomorrow, it's going to be passed. It means sell it, not right. So yes. Round two, how much money is out there for people to grab?
So right now there's $320 billion that got approved. So of that, $30 billion is specifically reserved for banks that are under $10 billion.
What's round two for Patty and her team?
I'm hearing the money's going to go a lot quicker this time. So they're expecting the money's going to go 4 days, maybe 5. So there, my goal is, again, it's trying to get as many as we can. We have some that are already who didn't get through last time, Lance. So they're queued up. They are ready to go. Once, SBA, with the bills passed into law, and SBA says our portal's open, our team is all ready to upload about 150, 175 apps that we, not only some that didn't get in round one, but we opened the portal again the other day. And we've already been processing applications. And we're going to be working around the clock to get as many as we can get in.
Patty, bonus question for you. How to get this one in there? What's your favorite part about working with Lance Bachman?
What I love about you, Lance, is number one, your energy. I like your positivity and your self-discipline, but more so, you also share that you don't give up. You're somebody who makes a difference in what you do. Those things to me is that commonality of that again, that entrepreneur has that entrepreneurial DNA. You're someone who drives for the business. I love the positivity and energy. It just, to me, that's what connects people, and I love it. And it's what motivates your team.
Well, be honest about the banking part. What do you love the most?
But I like, well, you love your deposits, gosh. But you know your deposits, but also your network. But what I appreciated that you had the conversation and that we had an opportunity to discuss things. And I appreciate the fact that, we're building a relationship here. And I think I'm getting to be a pretty big fan there of banking, or maybe Centric. How's that?
Patti, I want to thank you for being on the Den. On a serious note, I know I bust bankers' chops all day long. I don't give a lot of respect. The one thing I will say about some of the community banks that I've dealt with, and especially Centric Bank, and this is where I talk from the heart, you would be a fool, in my opinion, no matter what business you're in, not to give Centric or another local bank near you throughout the country and build a relationship with them, because it was the best thing Andrea Ahern ever did for my organization. And I appreciate Andrea for that, even though I disagree with her on the PG, and I still do. Right? So that's a whole different thing. But I 150% thank her to today. And Patti, I could not thank you on behalf of me, to 20-some other people that you've taken care of from the bottom of my heart, because you are a superhero to us, that you help save our companies and other people's companies out there. So thank you so much. And people are crazy to stick with these big banks that don't give a crap about them. So that's where I'm going to end it, Patti. Hope you don't mind
Thank you so much, Lance.
about you. I hope you don't mind me saying that about you and the other banks out there, but people have to hear the truth.
Well, thank you so much, Lance. It was great being on here with you. I appreciate coming into the Lion's Den, and appreciate the candor, appreciate the questions. And again, for anybody who has a question or who wants to get help, PPP, come to our website, and any of our individuals will be able to help them. Thanks again, Lance. Appreciate being on your show. If you haven't got your funds, come to Centric Bank, or find yourself another community bank that's doing this and is nimble and it's adept and can get your loan through. So put that plug out there. Would I love them to come to Centric Bank? Absolutely. If you go to our website, it's easy there. You can upload. And if you're with a bank that hasn't gotten back to you, consider applying with another one, and whomever gets it in first is going to get your businesses. Find yourself a mentor. Find yourself somebody who you aspire to, who knows they can coach you well. Number two, you always have to set your dreams and your goals. Get your vision. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to aspire to be? And you can't take away that work ethic. You got to work hard. And then lastly, it's like you never give up. You keep pursuing it. You hit a dead end or a detour, you find that detour and that path to get back on, but you don't give up, and you be persistent, and you keep finding yourself a way to get to that yes.